And let's start off by getting you all the updates you need to know on the farmers' protest. Clearly, the showdown over the farm laws continues, with the farmer leaders now announcing that they'll be leading a chakka jam, that's a traffic jam, on February 6th from 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. against the arrest of innocent protesters, internet suspension and the sealing of roads at their protest sites. With the protest entering day 69, the presence of farmers has only been increasing by the day, particularly at Ghazipur border. And in view of that, security has been scaled up also exponentially. Police are now virtually camping at the site, not just the main highway, but the service lanes have also been blocked. Even emergency services are not allowed now on these roads. Concrete barricades have been put up in the area. Barbed wire fencing has also been erected. Similar security measures can be seen at the Singhu border, where iron rods between two rows of cement barriers have been placed to restrict movement of protesters. These measures are coupled with a blanket internet ban prevailing at all of these sites.
Sword attack on cops. Policemen attacked and cornered. Complete chaos and mayhem. The security arrangements at the stir sites have been beefed up to avoid what Delhi witnessed on January 26th. Delhi police is also gearing up with metal shields to deal with sword attacks. Amid cemented barricades, barbed wires, and heavy deployment of security personnel, the epicenter of farmer protests, Ghazipur border, has now turned into a virtual fortress. The protest site has been isolated with layers of barricades to avoid repetition of violence and chaos.
A lot of fencing, not only the fencing, but police placing barricades and other retaliatory measures have taken here. You can see also how the police personnel with their weapon and with their other retaliatory instruments, they are camping here, and there is implementation of CRPC 144. Nobody is allowed to trespass this.
However, the police had to face locals' anger for blocking roads to protest sites.
हम यहाँ मयूर विहार से हैं, रास्ते में देखिए उधर से भी गाड़ी आ रही, अचानक हमारी गाड़ी आ रही, कुछ एक्सीडेंट हो जाए, कुछ हो जाए, हैं? अभी हम बाल बचे, हमें यहाँ से पता चला ये हरकत हो गई, कोई इन्फॉर्मेशन नहीं है, कोई कुछ नहीं है, तो ये गलत बात है ना, ये सारी, ये हम दिल्ली वासियों को क्यों परेशान किया जा रहा है?
Situation is no different at the Tikri border. Nails and iron rods have been cemented at the road leading to farmers' camp to block passage of farmers and locals from both the sides. The farmer camps are guarded with layers of barricades and RAF along with other security forces.
टीकरी बॉर्डर पे इस वक्त हम हैं और टीकरी बॉर्डर की आपको तस्वीर दिखाते हैं। आप ये देखिए, ये सीमेंट के बड़े बड़े ब्लॉक हैं, 2 ब्लॉक्स हैं। उसके बाद आप देखिए, पहली आप लेयर देखिए RAF के जवान यहाँ पर तैनात हैं ठीक बैरिकेड के बाद। उसके बाद आप ये देखिए, यहाँ पर CISF के जवान हैं।
Meanwhile, protesters at Singhu tried to remove barricades to allow locals to movement. The farmers asked police to open the roads for locals, allowing free movement to avoid any inconvenience.
अभी किसी भी तरीके से जो है एंट्री दिल्ली की तरफ नहीं होनी है, उसके मद्देनजर शाहदरा जिला पुलिस का ये अरेंजमेंट भी इंटैक्ट है और हमारे पूरे ऑफिसर्स इस बात को इंश्योर कर रहे हैं कि ऑन ग्राउंड वो अरेंजमेंट इतना इंटैक्ट रहे कि किसी भी तरह की कोई एंट्री पॉसिबल ना हो दिल्ली की तरफ।
The government has suspended internet services till February 2nd, 11 p.m. at Singhu, Ghazipur and Tikri.
Metal and concrete barricades, spikes and nails on the road and blockade on the highways. These measures are taken by the security agencies at Ghazipur, Tikri and Singhu border to prevent any untoward incidents like one that unfolded on the Republic Day. Clearly, the agency does not want to take any chance as the farmers continue to sit against farm laws on these borders for more than 2.5 months. Reporting from Singhu border with Sanjay, this is Ashutosh Mishra for India Today.
Expect a lot of drama in Parliament today. It's the second day of the budget session and it will be a stormy one. The opposition set to corner the government over the farmer protests. Congress parties Ghulam Nabi Azad and Anand Sharma have sent a notice for a discussion on the farmer protest in Rajya Sabha. The parties also gone ahead and demanded the suspension of proceedings in order to discuss the three farm laws. The Congress Parliamentary Party, meanwhile, will be meeting at 3 p.m. to discuss the strategy for the Lok Sabha. Congress has repeatedly questioned the government over the three farm laws and also the more than 2-month-long protest along Delhi's borders. On Monday, the government reiterated that it is willing to talk to the farmers and end the impasse, with Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman saying that the government is open to discuss any issue related to farmers' bill with protesting farmers.
देश में एग्रीकल्चर सेक्टर को मजबूती देने के लिए, किसानों की आय बढ़ाने के लिए इस बजट में बहुत जोर दिया गया है। कई प्रावधान किए गए हैं। एग्रीकल्चर सेक्टर में किसानों को और आसानी से और ज्यादा ऋण मिल सकेगा। देश की मंडियों को यानी एपीएमसी को और मजबूत करने के लिए, सशक्त करने के लिए एग्रीकल्चर इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर फंड से मदद का प्रावधान किया गया है।
चर्चा ही रास्ता है। चर्चा करने के लिए सरकार ओपन है और कल परसों पार्लियामेंट के शुरुआत से पहले प्रधानमंत्री जी वो जो ऑफर है उसको टेबल पर अभी भी है करके माना। इसीलिए मैं मानती हूं किसान जिनको भी मन में कुछ प्रश्न है, संकोच है और डाउट्स है, वो जरूर बात करने के लिए आगे आए, सरकार से बात करें।
इस बिल से न तो एपीएमसी प्रभावित होती है, ना ही एमएसपी को कोई खतरा है। एपीएमसी के लिए किसी भी प्रकार की किसी को चिंता करने की आवश्यकता नहीं है। एपीएमसी का भी विकल्प है।
The farm sector has been shortchanged. The budget allocation for agriculture and allied activities has been reduced. I repeat, reduced from 1,54,775 crore in the BE of the current year to rupees 1,48,301 crore in the BE of the next year. Of total expenditure, the proportion has been reduced. I repeat, reduced from 5.1% to 4.3%.
Let's also get you all the highlights of the budget 2021. The finance minister revealed the Modi government's 6 pillars to revive the economy. Massive spending for healthcare and infrastructure, tax rates unchanged. The insurance sector opened also for foreign ownership. Here's a detailed report on what this budget means for you.
The Narendra Modi government has bitten the bullet. Often criticized for not taking fiscal risks, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman has left prudence for some time later.
Fiscal deficit in RE 2020 to 2021 is pegged at 9.5% of GDP. The fiscal deficit in BE 21-22 is estimated to be 6.8% of the GDP. The gross borrowing from the market for the next year would be around 12 lakh crores.
The biggest jump in allocation comes in healthcare, with 35,000 crore rupees allocated to coronavirus vaccinations.
So the budget outlay for health and well-being is 2,23,846 crores in this BE 21-22, as against the BE of only 94,452 crores, and it marks an increase of 137%.
The budget that comes in the middle of pandemic-induced recession is a tightrope walk. The big news, it has left tax slabs untouched, contrary to fears of higher taxation in some slabs. But it has made PF contributions above 2.5 lakh rupees taxable. On the reforms front, it proposes to hike foreign investment in insurance from 49% to 74%, privatize 2 public sector banks and a general insurance company, The government wants to launch the LIC IPO in the coming fiscal. The government also hopes to raise funds by selling land. The proposal to set up bad assets bank to buy the NPAs of banks brought cheers to banking stocks. The innovative idea in the budget, one-person companies will be allowed. This, in addition to the extension of tax holiday for startups, can provide a post-pandemic incentive.
The benefits that have been extended to startups in motivating, facilitating so that India as a country may prosper through entrepreneurial institutionalization is phenomenal.
The government has its hands tied. It has not made any big changes in allocations for welfare schemes. Now, it will wait to see if its bold move to borrow will pay off and lift the growth. Bureau Report, India Today.
Poll-bound states of West Bengal, Assam, Kerala and Tamil Nadu also received massive infrastructure boost in Nirmala Sitharaman's third budget presentation. The opposition called it an attempt by the government to get some political mileage out of the budget.
I borrow the words of Rabindranath Tagore. Faith is the bird that feels the light and sings when the dawn is still dark.
As Nirmala Sitharaman presented the country's first budget amidst the coronavirus pandemic, she had her eyes on the states headed for polls a few months from now. She quoted Rabindranath Tagore and Tamil saint Thiruvalluvar in explaining the government's intent. Nirmala Sitharaman chose to specifically highlight the infrastructure proposals for West Bengal, Kerala, Tamil Nadu and Assam. These include 675 km of highway works in West Bengal worth 25,000 crore rupees, 1,100 km of national highway works in Kerala worth 65,000 crore rupees, 3,500 km of highway in Tamil Nadu at an investment of 1.03 lakh crore rupees, and 13,000 km of highway development in Assam worth 34,000 crore rupees. The Prime Minister said these projects were aimed at making the states a business hub.
ये बजट भारत के कोस्टल स्टेट्स जैसे तमिलनाडु, केरल, पश्चिम बंगाल इनको एक बिजनेस पावर हाउस बनाने की दिशा में एक बड़ा कदम उठाए। नॉर्थ ईस्ट के राज्य जैसे असम के अनएक्सप्लोर्ड पोटेंशियल को टैप करने में बजट बहुत बड़ी मदद करेगा।
Metro projects in Kochi and Chennai will receive central government funding worth 1,957.05 crore rupees for Kochi, 63,246 crore rupees for Chennai.
The government in this new session...
The opposition has accused the government of trying to derive political mileage. TMC MP Derek O'Brien claimed the West Bengal government had already developed 5,111 kilometers of highways in 2018 and 1,165 kilometers in 2019.
The finance ministers paid special attention to election-bound states. She announced large capital outlays. People are not fools. They know that the proposals are only outlays and the actual expenditure will happen only after the schemes are approved and over a period of several years, depending upon the pace of implementation.
We are also raising customs duty.
With the election just months away, the government has sought to send out a message to voters in poll-bound states. But are these budget proposals enough to win the elections? Bureau Report, India Today.
Ahead of polls in the state of Tamil Nadu, the DMK and the AIADMK are at loggerheads over former Tamil Nadu Chief Minister, founder of AIADMK, Dr. MGR's legacy. AIADMK Minister Sellur Raju has mocked DMK Chief MK Stalin for calling MGR his uncle and accused him of using his legacy for votes for the DMK. The State Minister for Cooperation asked whether the DMK chief remembered his uncle MGR only during elections and why couldn't he tell his father Karunanidhi to not evict MGR from his party. This comes 2 days after Stalin referred to MGR as his Periyappa or uncle and got emotional while talking about him here on India Today. Stalin had said that MGR, being his uncle, praised and advised him to study.
அவரை தூக்கி போடும்போது அவன் சித்த பெரியப்பாவை தெரியலையா, ஏப்பா பெரியப்பாவை தூக்கி வெளியே போடுற, செய்யக்கூடாதுப்பா அப்படின்னு சொல்லியிருக்கலாம்ல, அவங்க அப்பாட்ட சொல்லியிருக்கலாம்ல, அடம் பிடிச்சிருக்கலாம்ல. சரி, பெரியப்பா கட்சி ஆரம்பிச்சார்ல, இவர் வந்தாரா, வந்து பேசினாரா? பெரியப்பா இன்னைக்கு தான் இந்த எலெக்ஷன் நேரத்தில் தான் தெரியுதா?
So that is the reaction that came in from Sellur Raju. Let's play out an excerpt of that exclusive interview with M.K. Stalin where he got rather emotional talking about Dr. MGR.
அந்த நாடகத்தினுடைய நிறைவு விழா தான் இந்த ஃபோட்டோ. அதில் வந்து தலைவர் வந்து எங்களுக்கெல்லாம் நாடகத்தில் நடித்த அத்தனை பேருக்கும் மோதிரம் போட்டாங்க, ரிங் போட்டாங்க. எம்ஜிஆர் வந்து அப்போ கட்சியினுடைய பொருளாளர். அவர் வந்து எங்களுக்கெல்லாம் பாராட்டு சான்றிதழ் வழங்கினாங்க. இதில் வந்து அவர் வந்து எனக்கு அட்வைஸ் பண்ணி வாழ்த்தி பேசும்போது சொன்னார், நான் அப்பா ஸ்தானத்தில் இல்லை, பெரியப்பா ஸ்தானத்தில் இருந்து உனக்கு வந்து அட்வைஸ் பண்ணுறேன். நீ வந்து இதெல்லாம் கொஞ்சம் ஒதுக்கி வச்சுட்டு படிப்பில் கவனத்தை செலுத்தி படித்து முன்னேறி வரணும், அதுக்கப்புறம் நீ பெரிய வரணும், அதுதான் என்னுடைய ஆசை. உன்னுடைய பணிகள்லாம் ரொம்ப பாராட்டுக்குரியது, மகிழ்ச்சிக்குரியது. உங்கள் அப்பா இதை சொல்ல முடியாட்டினா கூட பெரியப்பாங்கிற ஸ்தானத்துலேருந்து நான் சொல்கிறேன் அப்படின்னு சொன்னது அது இன்னும் பசுமை நினைவில் இருக்குது.
Moving on to some other stories. In a big boost to India's air power and self-reliance, Defence Minister Rajnath Singh will be inaugurating the Tejas light combat aircraft's second production line today in Bengaluru. The move comes after Modi government's Cabinet Committee on Security cleared the procurement of 83 Tejas jets from Hindustan Aeronautics Limited. The deal amounts to 48,000 crore rupees. Now, out of 83, 73 jets are Tejas Mk1A and the rest are Mk1 trainer aircraft. The delivery of the Tejas light combat aircraft to the Indian Air Force will begin from March 2024. Around 16 aircraft will be rolled out annually till the completion of the total supply of 83 jets. Not just that, India is also expected to export the aircraft. The first export order is likely to come by in the next couple of years. So the indigenously built light combat aircraft Tejas has received its biggest order from the Indian Air Force. The Union Cabinet has given its nod, as I mentioned, to procure 83 Tejas fighter jets for the IAF to strengthen the movement to create an Atmanirbhar Bharat.
Welcome to the Flying Daggers, an Indian Air Force squadron with a unique distinction. It holds the distinction of being the only squadron currently flying an Indian fighter jet. That's right, the Tejas.
Our aim here is to raise the first LCA Tejas unit of Indian Air Force. It specializes in both the roles of air-to-air and air-to-ground. That is to say, it's a multi-role aircraft.
The best part about this aircraft is the indigenous hand in the mission computer, which enables us full capability to develop its weapon carriage as well as operational capability.
But as the pilots stack up the flying hours in this homegrown jet, there's history right around the corner. Because in just days from now, the Indian Air Force is all set to place its biggest ever order for 83 Tejas fighters, a contract that will be the biggest in history for an Indian-developed and Indian-built aircraft. The Tejas, christened so by former Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee in 2001, has had a turbulent flight path through development. But through 2 decades, it has proven worthy of induction by the Indian Air Force. And with the upcoming mega deal for 83 aircraft of an improved variety, the Indian Air Force has stamped its confidence and faith in the Made in India jet. With the order, the Indian Air Force will finally operate 123 Tejas jets, a massive number that fully validates decades of aerospace toil. But the Tejas story has only really just begun. 40 Tejas jets being inducted as we speak are of the baseline Mk1 variant. The upcoming mega order will be for 83 of the improved Mark 1A that features weapons capability and maintenance improvements. But the future of the Tejas looks strong too, with at least 2 pathways ahead. A more powerful Tejas Mark 2 or even a twin-engined Super Tejas. In 2019, your host Shiv Arur had the privilege of flying in a Tejas with a Kargil war hero pilot. The saga of the Tejas began decades ago, but its future has just opened up and opened big. Bureau Report, India Today.
Myanmar's military has seized power after detaining Aung San Suu Kyi and other democratically elected leaders. Troops are patrolling the streets in all the major cities. Communication is also limited now. This move follows a landslide win by Suu Kyi's party in an election the army claims was marred by...
In dawn raids in Yangon, members of Myanmar's democratically elected leadership were rounded up and detained as the military staged a coup.
The state of emergency is in effect nationwide, and the duration of the state of emergency is set to 1 year.
The military says it was acting in response to widespread election fraud. Its chief, Min Aung Hlaing, now rules the country.
This is our worst nightmare. Quite clearly, this is the Myanmar military scrapping the democratic experiment. You're talking about a party that won a landslide election, truly a landslide election. And all of a sudden we have Aung San Suu Kyi, we have the president and other top people under detention, and a state of emergency manufactured by the military to justify a year-long seizure of power.
The raids came shortly before the first session of a new parliament was supposed to begin. Aung San Suu Kyi's party, the National League for Democracy, had won a landslide victory in elections in November. Instead, the military is now patrolling the streets. Here in Yangon, it's been a tense day as information has continued to emerge. Although we have seen an increased security presence with riot police congregating in a few key areas, the streets have remained relatively quiet. The NLD has released a statement accusing the military of trying to return Myanmar to a dictatorship and urging people not to accept the coup.
We have a lot of struggles right now, for food, for life in general, for health, you name it. People have got the COVID problem, and now we have a coup. We were about to be okay, and now this happens. What do we have to do to survive?
Some supporters of the military did take to the streets in celebration. The new leaders have pledged to hold fresh elections and allow the winner to take power. But this is a country that only recently emerged from 5 decades of military rule, and many are skeptical.
How can we believe they will stick to that 1-year period? Based on what? There have been other things in the past, we couldn't believe them over. There will be a solution when all the people unite.
There's a growing list of nations expressing concern over the situation, as well as the United Nations. Its former special rapporteur on Myanmar says military chief Min Aung Hlaing is pursuing his personal ambitions.
Min Aung Hlaing wanted to be the president so that he can stay in power. The reason he needs to stay in power is his family has so much at stake in businesses run by the military or its cronies or its associates.
Min Aung Hlaing's power play has left many in Myanmar uncertain about what comes next. And with banks and some shops closed, people are stocking up on supplies. Ali Fowl, Al Jazeera, Yangon.
Hello everyone, this is Rahul Kamal here. Hope you enjoyed this video. For the latest news and analysis, like and subscribe the India Today YouTube channel, and don't forget to press the bell icon to stay updated.